what is exactly going on with makeup subscriptions? And a little bit of subscriptions in general. I feel like things have gotten more and more sparse. I haven't gotten a BoxyCharm at all this month, and you've probably noticed that as well, especially with some of my other friend content creators that I know a lot of you guys watch, like Jotty G, I think Rhonda as well, Hot Mess Mama. I'm gonna give you the tea on what I know about what's going on with Ipsy and Boxycharm so far, and also why you didn't see a FabFitFun last month. I really didn't even expect things to play out the way that they have, but I'm really curious your thoughts on, are subscription boxes dead? I'm curious if you think, are subscription boxes dead? Are they a relic of the past? Are they gonna come back? Are they gonna do something different? Like, truly, I'm just wondering if that was just a time like 2016, 2017 vibes, and then it just started to slowly peter out over time. Although I really feel like they hit a high note more like 2018. Maybe the peak was around 2018, 2019 of the subscription boxes. Like, that was the best they were gonna be. I'm gonna give you some dirty details about what I know behind the scenes as far as Ipsy and Boxycharm go, and a little bit of information on FabFitFun as well from what I know. But there's other things out there that have honestly just disappeared for me totally. I received an email at the end of June from Ipsy Boxycharm and my contacts there. And they had already said in the beginning of the year, as many of you guys probably saw on a lot of our channels, that things were going to be changing with Ipsy and Boxycharm. We weren't really sure what, but they were definitely alluding to overall changes that we would see throughout 2025. Well, for a little bit there, some of us were only getting an Ipsy bag or a box, and then we were just like, okay, whatever works for you. As creators, our job is to show you what the box is like, kind of give you an idea of if it's worth your dollars, is it not worth your dollars. Well, it looks like they are still trying to decide what they're doing with 2025, even though we started hearing conversations back in January. I received an email, like I said, at the end of June, and I also asked my YouTube friends, you know, Jotty G, Rhonda, hey, did you guys get this email? That was essentially saying things like, hey, do you still have an interest in being in our PR list to be able to show your audience what the boxes and bags look like? And I responded pretty quickly, I would say within 24 hours, saying, yes, I was still interested in being on the PR list. I know that that is a video a lot of my longtime subscribers, that's a lot of times how you found my channel, was through all of my big Boxycharm videos. A lot of you called me the Boxycharm Queen back in the day. Back in the day. It feels like long ago, but not at the same time, because that was the focus of my content quite a bit, was Boxycharm and Ipsy. I was the first to do the year end of the best and worst of Boxycharm, and Joe, the owner, even acknowledged that. I was the first to do the Boxycharm awards as well and had them be annual on my channel. So it was really a big piece of my channel. It was also a big piece of how a lot of people found my channel. So I always love to support them and want to still be along for the ride. So of course I was explaining that in my email as to why I wanted to still be on the PR list, and sent it. I did get a reply, I think like a week later, saying thank you for letting us know. We're still trying to decide what's going on. And as far as I know, that's the information all of us have received. But there's really no, because they were talking about the July box at the end of June. Well, it is, the time I'm filming this, middle of July, and as far as I know, no one's getting anything, which is fine if they don't want to have PR anymore, or maybe they're just going to have it for maybe bigger channels than mine, or I think I do know that they were doing a lot of deep diving into people's channels, because last year my contact reached out to me and said, hey, can you confirm that you have been posting and can you send us links? And I gave them that to show them that I, you know, don't get paid to work for Boxycharm, but I do make content for them. So I showed them the links that I do to get that, to give them their deliverables. So I found it interesting because they're like, oh, okay, we missed a couple of your videos, so we're gonna add it to our database. So I do think they've been scrubbing through to see, because back in the day, they gave a lot of people PR that probably weren't talking about it with their audience, maybe just keeping it for themselves or doing whatever they were doing with it. I don't know. I know I was creating content, I was doing giveaways, making this part of my channel and journey here on YouTube, and it's something I truly enjoy. So honestly, that's where it's been left now for almost a month. We're coming up on the month timeline of when they sent that first email. So we don't know, as content creators, what's going on with Ipsy Boxycharm. What are the changes behind the scenes? And if you know, feel free to share. I'm not upset. I just want to know your thoughts on, are makeup subscriptions even something that you're interested in? Are they dying? Because that was such a big peak of what the beauty community was at some point. And now it feels like that has definitely pulled back. Now we're seeing different styles of content, a lot more deep dives into brands, deep dives into ideas as far as the beauty community goes. What's worth our time? Not seeing a ton of hauls anymore, definitely not seeing favorites and fails anymore, which is kind of a bummer because I loved doing those videos. But you know, things evolve, things change, and what's old is new again. Eventually those things may become popular again. Look at fashion, things change all the time. So I'm just curious, if things were to change, would you be interested in subscription boxes again? Or is that something that you feel like is past, it's moved on, and it's not coming back? And that may be a struggle that Ipsy and Boxycharm are currently facing internally. It would be, you know, I would be crazy to think that they're not struggling in some capacity, especially compared to how it used to be that a lot of us knew about. We were constantly wanting the next premium box, the luxe box, the whatever we're naming it, branding it box. We were always excited to see what the next big development or strategy was going to be when it came to subscription boxes. And we were all really along for the ride and enjoyed it. But it did start to add some frustration, I think, to a lot of people when maybe the boxes were having a lot more throwaway products. Like, I mean, there was a year where I counted up how many black eyeliners I got because it was a filler product with maybe an inflated value on it. And sometimes you'd still get maybe one or two good things in the box that made the whole box worth it. But then there are months where maybe you didn't get a good variation, or there was a month where there was no variation and really you just got stuff that you didn't want or wouldn't use. And we always see these kind of evolving trends in all categories, not just makeup, but fashion, obviously, nails. If you go on like Pinterest or TikTok and you see different trending things for clothing, lifestyle, whatever it is, something's always going to be coming in and something's always going to be going out. I just think now that it's definitely affecting the brands in a new way, like Boxycharm, Ipsy, because they are moving way differently than they ever have before. I have worked with Boxycharm before it was purchased by Ipsy, back when I lived in my tiny house. So I want to say I didn't start receiving PR though till much later than most content creators. I think that's also my fault because I didn't really advocate for myself to get PR. I was very proud of the fact that I had always purchased the boxes. And I, around 2022, stopped buying the box because I no longer felt like I was getting my money's worth when I was getting PR, and I didn't want all the duplicates I was getting because there was not a lot of variation at that time that I was seeing from my paid box versus my PR box. And as time has evolved, makeup strategies change too. Like, as we've seen, skincare and hair care are much more the moment right now than a heavy coverage foundation, which is, you know, concealers, contours. That's a lot of what we used to see in the boxes when it was that peak of thriving with what was coming in there, and we wanted the heavy makeup moment. Whereas now, makeup and skincare have become fused into one, you know? Everything is becoming a little bit more fresh and easy. And how many brands out there maybe can work with Boxycharm or Ipsy in the way that they had previously, strategy-wise, and what is the return on the value for the brands putting their products in the boxes? I'm sure that's all evolved if subscription boxes aren't performing as well sales-wise. So there's bigger picture levels of things outside of just, content creators here getting PR to show you the boxes and let you know if we think it's worth your money or your time. So I also found that some things have been, I think, kind of just changing in other ways too. For example, I did not get my summer box for FabFitFun. I do believe this was an oversight because I was asked, do I want to participate? And I said, yes, I love FabFitFun. That is truly the box that I think if you are going to spend your own money on a subscription box, I think they're the best ones personally. And I have said that now for probably a year and a half now, because you do get to choose a lot of your products and you get to choose makeup or lifestyle things. And for me, where I'm at in my life, that is what I need. Like sometimes I do want to get a little crock pot or something for my kitchen instead of another highlighter, because maybe I don't want another highlighter, but I have a choice outside of makeup or a hair product or a skincare product or even clothing items. Most recently, I did get a fall invitation for the box. I did have a touch point that I could talk to at FabFitFun and let them know, hey, I keep looking for my summer FabFitFun. Do you happen to know what happened to it? And it sounds like something just truly fell through the cracks, which in business happens. I'm not upset at all. I'm disappointed I didn't get my box because the box that I had gotten to curate was so great, but all their boxes are great. So I still personally think a box that has more variation in it, it could be worth more your time and investment from my personal perspective. But I also love makeup. I mean, clearly I have a beauty channel that, I feel like also heavily incorporates lifestyle, but my OG love was makeup. So for me, I didn't see a value in FabFitFun like I do now in 2016. I think FabFitFun has been around for quite some time now. In the 2016 to 2018 timeframes, they were still there. I was not working with them. I didn't really want to spend my money on it because I wasn't there at that time. But now where I've evolved into my life of, I know what products I really enjoy, I know what products I need versus what I have an excess of, I want to explore other, lifestyle things that are of good quality. And last summer, I got some amazing beach items to take to the beach with me, take to the pool with me. At the holidays, I get some great things for my kitchen and some jewelry. There's a lot of different options that can be had. So I feel like this is my opinion only, but tell me your thoughts below. I think there is still a space for subscription boxes, but they need to appeal to the masses in a different way because not everybody wears makeup anymore, especially since the pandemic, especially since more people work remote or if it's just been deprioritized in their life. But everybody's got to eat, so everybody's got a kitchen of some capacity. Even if we don't cook, it could be something that you could also gift to somebody. I just find that there are a lot more options with brands like FabFitFun. So for me, that's really still an avenue that I think FabFitFun knocks it out of the park with. And if they were going to have a competitor, that might be something I'd be interested in comparing to. And if you know of one, let me know because I might invest my own dollars into that. But as far as like a makeup subscription goes, I don't foresee myself doing that anytime soon with my own dollars at this time. I will say the Chic Beauty box was a box I did receive for a while, but I struggled to enjoy a lot from those boxes. I feel like they kind of came out strong and then they've kind of petered here and there. So that's another box that's mostly makeup though. And I feel like I don't know if that model will last or sustain in the way that the trends have evolved to. But I am open for discussion. Please let me know your thoughts below because as trends evolve, but as we evolve, even just like where we're at in our lives can change what we want to bring in and what we're consuming. So let me know your thoughts on, are you thinking all subscription items are dead? Or are you still open to a FabFitFun style? Would you ever want a Boxycharm again? I'm really curious your thoughts on this because it really seems like the market has changed really like a hard left in these last 6 to 9 months. of what we're wanting for our own personal care times. Because yes, makeup is still a thing, and I'm always probably going to be a makeup lover, but the makeup I'm using is different. The amount I want is different. The quality has got to be good if it's going to stay in a beauty space. You know what I mean? Let me know your thoughts. I love hearing from you guys for this little commentary chat on where do you think subscription boxes are going, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, friends.